End-of-life planning can sound like an overwhelming task, but the CDC reports 70% of Americans have not gone through this process, which can leave loved ones in a very difficult position when they're left to make hard decisions. Janet Scoville, Director of Care Management at Priority Health, is here today to guide us through this important process. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So what are some things that people need to think about and make some decisions on when it comes to end-of-life planning?
There's a lot of things,
Yeah.
but primarily, number one, what to do with your estate, your finances, those types of things, if you have pets, if you have children, and then also your medical decisions. So if you were suddenly to be unable to speak for yourself or make your own decisions anymore, what would you want done in the event that that would happen?
So what does this process look like? I assume there's a cost involved. What do people need to keep in mind when they go through this process?
Well, there isn't always a cost. There are documents available and instructions, and there are resources that you can tap into in the community and in your provider's office if you don't have a lot of money.
Nice.
So cost really isn't an excuse. It really is something that everyone can find a way to do with the resources available.
That's good to know. So Priority Health actually has some workshops that can teach people how to go through this. Tell us about that.
Yes, we do. We partner with Corewell Health, and we provide guidance and direction documents for people who are interested in completing advanced directives. And that process walks them through all of the different decisions that you may need to make about your health when you're facing a health crisis.
And this can be such a gift to adult children who you would suddenly leave behind, or potentially they have to make some really difficult decisions. Talk about the relief that that can provide people.
Absolutely. So your children and other members of your family or people who are close to you, they will be faced with making decisions about whether or not to start intravenous nutrition, ventilator support, other life-saving interventions, and nobody wants to be left wondering, is this what my mom or dad would have wanted?
Yeah. It is important to put that information somewhere where they can find it, even if it's a business card of somebody who has the information or a cabinet. What's your advice on that?
Absolutely. Documents need to be kept in the important places where the other papers are kept. It's also important to give a copy to your physician and the facility where you receive health care.
Janet Scoville from Priority Health, some really good advice and something to think about as we take care of our family members with this peace of mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.